Tens of thousands of dock workers at ports along the East and Gulf Coast have gone on strike. The union representing those workers has been locked in a labor dispute with the port operators. They're demanding pay raises and protections from automation. Former President Trump addressed the strike in a new statement out tonight, saying, quote, "The situation should never have come to this," adding American workers should be able to negotiate for better wages. He also blames Harris for inflation, which he says caused the strike. CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Jo Ling Kent joins us now from Los Angeles. Jo Ling, good to see you. What will the economic impact of this port strike be?
Lindsay, great to be with you. We're talking about 25,000 workers from Boston all the way to Houston who've gone on strike, who've taken to picket these issues and these benefits that they're looking for. Overall, according to JPMorgan Chase, we can expect this to cost the American economy about $5 billion a day. And the real concern going forward is if this is a protracted strike, it could have an impact on supplies from perishable foods, cars, and construction supplies. But the good news here is that some of the essentials out there that New York Governor Hochul has warned about will not be affected. So we're talking about home heating oil, diesel, gas. So there has been an overall warning to consumers out there. You don't need to panic. You don't need to go out and stock up on a lot of the supplies you may be worried about. Both sides obviously hoping to get to some kind of resolution here, but it could be a very, very costly strike as these ports are essential to all of our economic activity, Lindsay.
Jo Ling, let's shift now and talk about, of course, tonight's events and the economy. Voters consistently name the economy as a top issue. Their policies are very divergent, and economists have actually had skepticism over both of their proposals. What are the key differences between the campaign's economic pitches?
Yeah, we expect to hear from Walz and Vance tonight. Very, very different perspectives that largely support their respective tickets. That is obviously going to be the case as they try to push the Trump and Harris agendas, both of which have, put out these ideas that largely contingent on passing Congress or getting additional approvals. These are very much ideas that are on the table that will be difficult to accomplish regardless of which side you look at. So we do know, if you look at the overall economy right now, the government data is pretty strong when it comes to how the economy has performed, but we do know that grocery prices over the last 4 years have gone up 21% since President Biden took office. Our average hourly wages are up, outpacing inflation, which is a good thing. But as Vice President Harris and the candidate Walz have explained, a lot of Americans aren't feeling that. So you can expect to hear from the Harris ticket from Walz that there is more work to be done, whereas Vance is expected to hammer on the inflation issue and continue to support the tariffs, on imported goods that so many economists have told us will actually cost the average American taxpayer more than $1,000 a year if they go through. So we do know that Walz will likely be supporting the $25,000 down payment assistance plan that Vice President Harris has been pushing. We also know tax incentives have also been proposed, so we expect to hear more on that front. Whereas when you look at former President Trump, he has proposed changing regulations and making federal land available for housing and trying to propose solutions that way. You can expect to hear from Vance on that topic. Also, immigration folds into the economy here. President Trump has said he would like to deport 15 to 20 million undocumented workers. He believes that those individuals contribute to the housing shortage. But of course, when it comes to the housing supply situation, a lot of workers in that group certainly would be contributing to possibly more housing supply in the long run. So a lot of complicated issues here, but expect it to be pocketbook and sticking with what their bosses essentially have said already on the campaign trail.
A lot to listen for tonight, Jo Ling Kent. Thank you.
Thanks.